So the Chinese minister there making a very strong statement that's saying that China won't use nukes first. In fact, saying that it will not be the first one to use nukes is what we are given to understand. At the same time, China has also released footage of military exercises, the military drills it's conducting at the Taiwan Strait. So that's in fact the footage as well of the China has released the footage of the military drills being conducted by China at the Taiwan Strait. So you can see there a big action there by the Chinese at the Taiwan Strait. So that is the latest coming in right now. China's military drills, which are in full force. Remember, China has planned to carry out massive military drills between August 4th till the August 7th. In fact, an operation that would also imply huge economic repercussions as well on Taiwan.
东部战区部队有充分的信心和能力反击一切挑衅，坚决捍卫国家主权和领土。
So with the military drills that China plans to undertake, it intends to put pressure on Taiwan militarily as well as the economic pressure. Along with the military pressure, trade routes to Europe, Middle East will also be blocked as a result of the drills that China intends to carry out from the Taiwan Strait. It would not just that, it would even exacerbate existing supply chain woes as well and sanctions on goods supply by China on Taiwan. So those are some of the pressures that China wants to put on Taiwan with the military drills that it is carrying out and intends to carry out massive military drills in the near future as well, to be precise, between August 4th and August 7th. Major General G.D. Bakshi continues to be with us. Major General, how do you view these latest developments, especially with regard to the military drills? We also understand massive military drills will be carried out specifically between August 4th and August 7th by the China.
Look, that is exactly what we were saying. I'm not very sure if China wants to go kinetic right now. There is no need for it to hurry. And what we anticipate is a kind of a blockade option. That is when you exercise, it is already most of its naval units seem to have surrounded Taiwan right now under the pretext of exercises. And if it wants to step on the heat, it will start putting economic pressure and then intensify it to a blockade. A blockade has the problem for the others that who will turn the conflict kinetic first. So I do think that the initial responses of the Chinese will be non-kinetic. They are not going to jump straight into live fire onto Taiwanese targets, either by missile strikes or otherwise air strikes. It would be graduated pressure, and the Chinese, if they have to go for any higher option, anything kinetic, may like to do it on their own terms and timings, rather than be pushed by the Nancy Pelosi visit to straight away hurry up and give a very knee-jerk kind of a response. That is not the way the Chinese work. They are rather risk-averse. They like to go slowly. Don't forget, these armed forces haven't fought for 43 years. So there is that hesitation in turning kinetic, which the Russians did not have. They just went into, when they threatened, when people ignored their threat, they just turned kinetic and went into Ukraine. Their performance, initially there was a lot of underperformance, which has again put some hesitation into the Chinese military mind. But at the end of the day, loss of face is very serious for the Oriental, especially the Chinese.
Yes.
And when Xi Jinping is trying to maneuver for a third term, unprecedented third term in office, well, he has to have something to show. He can't be seen as in the face of an American pushback. That ends his big power dreams, that ends his appeal to his domestic constituency.
Yes.
So China
Major
will
General,
respond.
yes, if I can interrupt you just for a second, how do you read into this footage that has now been released by China of the military drills? Because on one hand, it has released the military drills footage, and on the other hand, it is saying that it will not be the first to use nukes. How do you read into this?
Good question. The Chinese have a no first use policy. So when they say we will not be the first to use nuclear weapons, actually it is an implied threat that things could turn nuclear if push comes to shove. Even Russia had resorted to such nuclear saber rattling. So the Chinese are doing it in a very more sophisticated way by saying we have given a no first use pledge and we will not be the first to use nuclear weapons. The unstated implications, if you read between the line, is that there could be a conflict that could go to the nuclear threshold or approach the nuclear threshold. So it is a very roundabout way of giving a nuclear threat.
Right. And do you see this in any way? Do you think that the US as well as it could deter in any way US and Taiwan when it comes to the military drills being carried out by China?
Look, the entire purpose of this American exercise was that China had held out dire threats. And the United States of America, being the greatest or the only superpower in the world, did not want to be seen as backing down. In the face of threats, it would create a new equation altogether, where it would be quite apparent that America has backed down in the face of a direct Chinese threat. So they went ahead with the Nancy Pelosi visit, albeit with precautions. Very, very certain precautions. They were even concerned that the Chinese would try and shoot down Nancy Pelosi's plane. So they, came in via the eastern direction, away from China, and then they escorted it with about 8 F-15s from Japan, as also, they had their refuelers, etc., for them to come so far and go back, etc. I suppose even on the way out, they would like to escort Nancy Pelosi back and not leave it to chance. But will China turn kinetic right away? I don't think so. If they are planning to do, like I said, what is their range of options? One is just posture, which is what they've already started doing. They've started this major exercise 4th to 8th of August. This posturing could be turned into a blockade, which then, puts the onus of the firing the first shot on the other side to, if they want to break down that blockade or contest the blockade, then they could sort of go in for a symbolic shot across the bow by firing on Taiwanese target with their missile stroke by air attacks. Then they could go to a medium level option, trying to take any Taiwanese islands close to the China mainland, and then they could go the full scale option. So I do not reckon that the Chinese, given how risk averse they really are, given the fact that they are not done any kinetic action for 41 years, though I would not rule it out, but the chances are much less. Percentile chances are much less. So they will escalate by demonstrative military deployments. They have already done that. They could escalate to a blockade. They could escalate to symbolic strikes, but they will do it. I don't think they will do it as a knee-jerk response. They have all the time. Why should it be tied only to Nancy Pelosi's visit? Even post the visit, I don't think the crisis will be over. The Chinese will continue to graduate pressure.
Yes. Well,
because otherwise,
yes,
they stand to lose face very badly.
Major General, stay with us. Slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll come back to you in just a bit, and just stay with us just to take our viewers through the visuals that we are playing on our screens. This is a fresh footage of Chinese drills which are being carried out, the military exercise being carried out by the Chinese forces there. So that is the latest footage that has been released by China with respect to the military drills being carried out. It intends to send out a very strong message. In fact, what we are given to understand is that China has warned airlines operating in Asia to avoid flying in areas around Taiwan where it is conducting military exercises in response to US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to the island nation. In fact, an official notice has also been sent on Tuesday's Hong Kong time, designating 6 areas of airspace as danger zones, according to carriers who received the message as well. So China there sending out a very stern warning and asking airlines operating in Asia to avoid flying in these zones above the Taiwan Strait, as the military drills that are being carried out by China on the Taiwan Strait. Slipping into a very short break. On the other side, we'll continue with our live coverage as China goes ballistic when it comes to its aggression on Taiwan, conducting military